federal payouts to an auto giant with deep Windsor ties before the company revealed it would be uprooting local jobs, leaving some Ontario families in a bind. Emma Loop has more.
Canada paid Stellantis more than $220 million before the company revealed it's moving some production to the U.S. That's more than double the amount the federal government disclosed when first asked about it 2 months ago, amid the fallout over Stellantis scrapping plans to build a Jeep model in Brampton. The move has sparked fresh job concerns for the roughly 3,000 workers there. At the time, the federal government said Stellantis had gotten around $105 million total. But the numbers didn't include the 2025 fiscal year, which ended in March, about 7 months before the announcement. New accounting records show Stellantis got nearly $118 million that year alone, bringing the total to at least $222 million. Ottawa struck a deal with Stellantis in 2022 to provide the automaker up to $529 million to help retool its Windsor and Brampton plants. The federal government has also given Nexstar Energy, Stellantis' electric vehicle battery venture in Windsor, at least $530 million. The industry department did not respond to questions before deadline, but Industry Minister Mélanie Joly said last month the deals have job guarantees.
The government will take the next step under the contracts to recover Canadian taxpayers' money.
The province also pledged to provide up to $513 million for the Windsor and Brampton plants, but Premier Doug Ford has said he hasn't given Stellantis any funding for Brampton because it didn't meet job and project milestone conditions. Stellantis, for its part, said it couldn't comment on this story, but shared a previous statement saying that it continues to work constructively with government and other stakeholders on plans for the Brampton plant. Emma Loop, CBC News, Windsor.
Our newsroom has been chasing down a local ship captain. Well, ship might be a stretch, but captain nonetheless, who has been the center of all kinds of online attention for his homemade houseboat. After days of sleuthing, our Dawson Chen finally connected with Captain Steve.
Stephen Milray of Harrow, more widely known as Captain Steve, may have named his do-it-yourself houseboat the Never Landing, but it's currently on the beach at Port Austin, Michigan, brought to land due to the Huron County Sheriff's Department worrying that it won't survive winter conditions on the Great Lakes. Milray has been building the houseboat since the winter of 2024. He launched from Harrow in April, and he says this is not the end of his adventure.
I never give up. You know, in my whole life, there's so many things where you just at the point where you think you're supposed to give up, you can't give up no matter what anybody says, because everybody will tell you what you can or can't do, but to me, can't doesn't exist.
By his own admission, 36-year-old Milray has led a wild life. Originally from the community of Lakeside, Oxford County, he says he has owned businesses, worked as an electrician, and worked as a computer programmer. But he's also an experienced boater and a licensed commercial airplane pilot. Previously, he has voyaged and flown himself all over Mexico and the Caribbean islands. The Never Landing is the fulfillment of a childhood dream. Milray says the designing and material gathering began years ago. The boat is equipped with sleeping quarters, a full kitchen and bathroom, a personal sauna, even a hot tub, plus comforts for his canine companion Mexicali. And vehicle space. Earlier this year, the Never Landing carried Milray's Sea Ray amphibious aircraft.
I'm very comfy as I've ever been. Small heater, keeps it very warm. I'm sitting here talking to you in my boxers, no shirt, no pants, no socks. So it's very nice and toasty.
The Facebook group dedicated to the Never Landing currently has more than 15,000 members. Milray says he's still trying to get a handle on his newfound notoriety, and he hopes people following his quest take some inspiration.
These people that are drawn to it and captivated by it, I really didn't think that was going to be the case with anything. It's still a work in progress, and that's just like all of us, still a work in progress.
Captain Steve says it's still his ambition to take the Never Landing overseas. For now, he says he's concentrating on making it capable of travel on top of the ice. Dawson Chen, CBC News, Windsor.
I hope Captain Steve gets some good weather because he's going to need it. And it's time to take a look at your weather forecast with Colette Kennedy. What are you watching for, Colette?
Well, I'm just a little sheepish because I don't have great weather for him or for any of us when it comes to what we can expect in at least the short term, because we have very cold air that's making its way in behind this Arctic front and strong winds as well. So just looking at your daytime temperatures, this is from 8 a.m. Okay, it's the progression through the day when we were at -6 in Windsor and as 6 6 p.m., -4. And then those temperatures as the front passes will be plummeting. So we do have that snowfall that's coming down, those bursts of snow along that frontal boundary. And tonight, -9. Acton, the high tomorrow, just -5.
Yikes. Okay. Thanks, Colette. Chat again soon.
Okay.
Windsor police have charged 2 men with human trafficking. The investigation started after a 27-year-old woman reported she was forced to work in the sex trade. Officials say it happened over 3 days before the woman escaped and got in touch with police. 2 men, aged 23 and 27, have both been charged with several offenses, including human trafficking and procuring a person to provide sexual services. One of the men was arrested in Barrie, the other here in Windsor. Youth unemployment rates are up across the country. According to Statistics Canada, Windsor's rate was 18% last year. The city says it has been working to create jobs for young people, including through its summer jobs lottery. Applications for that are open now. 700 to 800 students apply every year, but officials say only 180 are expected to be hired.
And that's why we run a lottery program. So the students who apply will put their social insurance numbers in, we run the program, and then the program just lets us know who's first, second, and third. So it just goes through computer programming. So it's a true lottery.
CBC News has exclusive new details about a Mercedes-Benz supercar once fawned over by some of the world's richest collectors and now in the hands of the FBI. Thomas Dagla breaks down its connection to Ryan Wedding, the Canadian Olympian turned alleged drug lord.
Probably the most special car here.
Thought to be worth a staggering $13 million US, this ultra-rare Mercedes-Benz Roadster was once on proud display by Abu Dhabi's royal family. Now seized as evidence by FBI agents hunting for Canadian fugitive Ryan Wedding.
From Coquitlam, British Columbia.
CBC News has learned how the former Olympian turned alleged cocaine kingpin may have used the car as part of a global money laundering scheme.
This guy runs what the U.S. have described as a $1 billion a year enterprise, and so he wants his toys.
Last year, a dealership in Miami imported that 2002 CLK GTR after purportedly sourcing it for Drake. One of just 6 Roadsters ever built and in pristine condition, with the odometer reading only 22 kilometers.
They're just in the very best collections on planet Earth.
But the deal with Drake fell through, and we obtained this purchase agreement signed instead by Roland Sokolovsky, a Toronto jeweler identified by U.S. authorities as a chief money launderer for Wedding.
Wedding operates through a complex web of individuals and companies to launder his drug proceeds, using everything from front businesses to luxury cars to cryptocurrency.
That massive money laundering network purportedly also involved military-style tactical boot camps used to train hitmen. And even Wedding's Mexican wife, who authorities suspect also helped him carry out violence.
I'm sure that, it's a tip of an iceberg of a much broader operation.
As for that Mercedes, the FBI won't confirm whether it's set to be auctioned off. Authorities say there were plenty of other luxury cars, motorcycles, and properties around the world used to hide the profits from Wedding's criminal empire. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
A new Canadian study is jump-starting conversations about the benefits and risks of some methods of prostate screening. Anand Ram has the details.
So here's our phone number. If you want to speak with someone.
Dennis Farbstein is helping people navigate their new prostate cancer diagnoses, having gone through it himself years ago.
Had I not been screened, it could have been gone, into other parts of my body, metastatic, and then I would have been in trouble. So for me personally, I was very fortunate.
But screening for prostate cancer through a controversial blood test known as the PSA isn't recommended in Canada. Now, new research suggests a lack of screening means more serious cases.
Metastatic or stage 4 prostate cancer has gone up by 50% in men aged 50 to 74 and by about 65% in men in their late 70s.
The study also looked at prostate cancer deaths over decades. When screening was more widespread, mortality rates dropped. But when guidance shifted to actively not recommend screening, that life-saving progress plateaued.
We can see the way that screening guidelines are impacting prostate cancer outcomes.
But other experts we spoke to disagree with this interpretation, saying we've made huge progress in diagnosing and treating prostate cancers, and still argue that screening, though simple, may open the door to more problems.
The benefits don't always outweigh the harms, and we don't talk about harms often. You will unnecessarily undergo biopsy, you will unnecessarily undergo surgery or radiotherapy. All of those have complications that affect the remainder of the quality of a life.
Make a fist for me? Advocates argue the blood test should be more widely accessible, and updated Canadian cancer screening guidelines are expected next year.
One of them actually put me in a hospital with sepsis during a biopsy.
Farbstein knows the risks that come with more invasive testing, but ultimately he's been cancer-free for nearly 2 decades and says he's giving back by helping others understand their choices. Anand Ram, CBC News, Toronto.
Singing in public, it's a pretty common fear, but some stroke survivors are embracing belting out the tunes for potential health benefits. Alison Northcott reports.
Singing together gives members of this choir a chance to use their voices. The singers have all suffered strokes and have developed a condition called aphasia, which affects the ability to speak. Now they're part of a study to see if singing can help their recovery.
We are hoping that this study will demonstrate that choir activity is really good for people, good for their language, but good for their social relation too.
The randomized controlled trial has sites in Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and Tampa Bay, Florida. The study involves 12 choir sessions for each group. Serge Balancic has had trouble writing and finding his words since his stroke in 2022. He hopes this study leads to more treatment options.
I like because it gives me occasion to speak, you see, and to find my old voice.
Researchers monitor heart rates and vocal range. It will take a few months for researchers to go through the data and determine if group singing helps improve language skills and quality of life for people with aphasia. Previous research suggests music may help parts of the brain not damaged by a stroke to improve communication through rhythm and pitch.
You want to make sure that...
But more studies are needed, says this stroke neurologist.
There is definitely evidence that these kind of therapies can work, and we will have to see how these trials will end up.
When they start singing, you could just see the soul free up, and it's just so magical to see how much music brings life back.
Balancic is optimistic and hopes others with his condition can one day benefit from an activity like this too. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
It's cold out, there's snow on the ground, all signs of holiday season. And in Poland, glass blowers are carrying on a long-standing, unique tradition to spread holiday cheer.
So we are specialized in mouth-blown, hand-painted Christmas ornaments. This year will be our 30 years in business.
Silverado is a family-owned factory on the outskirts of Warsaw. The artists take lumps of glass, turning them into one-of-a-kind holiday gifts. The company has earned global recognition for its work, some of it making its way all the way to Christmas trees inside the White House. CBC's nationwide Make the Season Kind campaign is on. More news just ahead. The Prime Minister is promising major funding to fix Canada's on-reserve child welfare system, and his government is facing a ticking clock to get it done. Olivia Stefanovic explains.
We will complete the crucial work.
A pledge from the Prime Minister to fix First Nations child and family services once and for all.
Our approach to child welfare will be First Nations-led, community-led, and it will be supported by significant additional funding.
After almost 2 decades of litigation between First Nations and the federal government, the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal has set a deadline of December 22nd, the day Ottawa must submit its plan to reform the on-reserve foster care system.
This moment in time will go down in history.
But Carney's government isn't the only one preparing a proposal.
And so we're going to file some next steps.
CBC News got behind-the-scenes access to a session at the Assembly of First Nations Special Chiefs Assembly, hosted by the National Children's Chiefs Commission, directed by the AFN to come up with a counterplan.
We've got 25 years of evidence, and we've worked with public finance experts to create a finance approach that would create measurable outcomes for children.
They say it will cost around $50 billion, more than the amount former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau put forward.
If you wish to oppose.
And the AFN rejected.
Every day that we spend discussing the technicalities of an agreement is another day that a child is in care. And that is something that is important to me that we address.
The Indigenous Services Minister says she's determined to bring the two sides together.
It's not just the deadline that I'm concerned about, it's these kids that need us to do our work collaboratively, reflecting the realities.
We cannot take one child and treat the other child differently.
The chair of the National Children's Chiefs Commission says the minister's offer comes too late.
Is it possible that you will be able to create one plan within the next couple of weeks and come together? Do you have any confidence that will happen?
No. Well, you know, that option was there when this came out, when the ruling came out. The option was always there.
It will be up to the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal to decide which solution to move forward to fix the broken on-reserve child welfare system once the Commission and the government make their filings later this month. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
CBC News is learning that Tim Hortons is pushing politicians to boost the amount of migrant workers it's allowed to hire. Rafi Boudjikanian has the details.
Over the course of the last 18 months, Tim Hortons and their parent company Restaurant Brands International have been lobbying the government to raise the limits on temporary foreign worker hires. Last year, in a letter released under an access to information request, a company representative wrote to then Immigration Minister Mark Miller asking to raise the cap of TFWs from 20 to 30% of total employee hires. Several months later, the government went the opposite route, lowering the cap to 10% as Canadian views on immigration soured. This year, the company has been lobbying MPs from multiple political parties, the Liberals, the Conservatives, and the Bloc Québécois. In July, Bloc MP Alexis Brunel-Duceppe says the company tried pressing him on raising the cap of TFWs for Tim Hortons stores in his riding from 10 to 20%. Then in October, Miller says the company made the case to extend expiring work permits for TFWs in a smoother fashion. Tim Hortons says it needs flexibility for TFWs, especially in rural or smaller communities.
As an employer, I have a vision. I need people, and they're here as a temporary foreign worker. I've seen many examples where they are able to get permanent residency and stay and become a community member.
The government says it can't predict future policy decisions, but it did design the TFW program with that flexibility in mind. The Conservatives say the program should be abolished, accusing it of importing cheap foreign labor. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, a full look at your upcoming forecast with Colette. Stay with us. Our meteorologist Colette is back to fill you in on what you need to know all about the weather. What are you tracking today, Colette?
Well, I was going to just start off with this kind of big picture look, just because it's early in the season, but there have been these storms that have rolled through. We've got this Arctic front going through right now, and just looking at the snow on the ground, and so many areas, I know it's hard to see. Southwestern Ontario here, it's more like, a trace to nothing, but so many areas covered in snow and early in the season, and even for the continental U.S., more than 40% with snow coverage. Very unusual this early in the season. And then, of course, we've got our friends in Atlantic Canada that are in the thick of it. In Newfoundland, the snow still falling there. Clarenville through that Bonavista Peninsula, where the areas hit the heaviest, looking like they're going to end up with over 40, and in some cases locally more than 50 centimeters of snowfall with that system there, although there's been a changeover to a mix and some rain. For us, we're looking at this front coming through and this kind of bursts of flurries that we're getting, and some very chilly air moving through. So it's cold enough right now with our wind chill being -11 because of some stronger winds. These are the sustained winds, but we've got wind gusts that are over 30 kilometers an hour, and with the front passing, we're talking about this evening of some of those gusts going towards 50, even 60 kilometers an hour. There's that frontal boundary. It's still kind of coming in here, and some of that flurry activity and the bursts of snow along it. That moves on through as we press past midnight. And then we get into that colder air, even colder, yes, than what we're experiencing. And as that is coming through, we are talking about those temperatures dipping even further. We'll have a bit of a rebound into Friday, and then things are going to tank again with a secondary cold front that's going to be coming through for the second half of the weekend, and that'll be that next front. So what are we going to do in terms of a warm-up? We have a little bump of a warm-up coming towards Saturday. I just want the control room to know I haven't heard any cues, so I'm not sure how I'm doing on my time here. Overnight temperatures -9 for us, and that's without the wind chill factored in. So once we factor those winds in, it's going to be feeling more like -17, yes, with winds gusting to 50 or even 60 kilometers an hour. Tomorrow's high -5, Thursday night -12, and then into Friday it's -2, down to -7, and then there's that little bump up where we get a bit more warmth that'll be coming in as we head into Saturday. I know it's still well below seasonal, but that's something, and then Acton, the colder air comes back Sunday.
Thank you, Colette.
Thank you.
That's our show. Thanks for watching.